So the point about being Sneers is that it can be both in our attire, in our clothing, in our dress, how we and therefore how we appear, and how we appear is also resembled in our midot. So of course, when we dress, then we dress depending on what we think we're going to do and where we're going to go and what we think is appropriate. And in the same way, depending on what we're going to do and what we expect that to be and how we think we should be while we're there, affects what we choose to wear. In the same way, what we choose to wear affects how we expect to be. Or rather how we end up behaving. Sort of like as if when we put on a different shoes, we walk in a different direction. Now, obviously, we choose which direction we walk in, so that concept shouldn't make sense because we choose to walk wherever we want to walk, irrespective of what shoes we wear. But it is as if that when we put on a different pair of shoes, the shoes themselves walk in a different direction, or rather walk the route in a different way. Now, to make it short as an introduction, hopefully we'll get onto it more, is that the idea of Sneers can therefore, in the same way as clothing can affect our behavior and what we expect our behavior to want to be affects what we choose to wear, in the same way, being Sneers is reflected in what we wear, but it is a state of mind, and it can also be reflected in our midot, except for what we're wearing, but also in our characteristics, our mannerisms, and more specifically, the words we choose to use and the impression we choose to give off. So they're all, of course, slightly different things, which maybe we can elaborate on in the future. I want to try to imagine now an environment whereby we can assist the recipient of our presence by being Sneers and hopefully help ourselves and maybe the recipient of who we are trying to assist. Now, obviously, just in case somebody doesn't know what Sneers refers to, this is sort of like a slang word which is referring to an element of privacy. So when people dress conservatively for the benefit of the eye of the recipient, then this is appreciating a third party's sensitivity as well as their own privacy. So this is a two-step element. One is for the person doing it, and one is for the recipient. Now, obviously, if we see somebody else walking down the street in not very much clothing, flaunting what God gave them, then for some reason they want to parade themselves and effectively either be seen or be noticed or get attention. And if a woman is, for example, dressed Sneers in a working or other social environment, then if they're an attractive woman, it is more attractive that they are covered up and leaves things to the imagination. Of course, revealing people's selves might be more arousing to the animal soul, but it's not elevating to the eyes. And so we are the same down to all the way through to a woman covered completely in black sheeting almost, whereby you don't even understand how they can see through what they're wearing when they walk down the street. And going from one extreme to the other, we can appreciate how that person in the black covering must be going through such emotional trauma, such difficulty. Their soul must be in so much pain that they probably should realize, or it is a symbol of them realizing how distanced their soul is from being a perfect angel that they should be, to the extent they don't want to reveal themselves in public. Now, that's not to say the other people are behaving like angels. It's also to say the other end of the spectrum of the equilibrium, which is dressing Sneers, which is covering their arms and shoulders and legs and the normal parts of the body not to be revealed, whereby the light in the eyes can continue to shine even with their presence of an attractive looking lady. Now, what I mean by that is that it would normally make sense for somebody to think that they want to dress slinky and they want to feel attractive and confident and to be able to get their support wherever they go and encouragement, and that's not necessarily the same thing that's happening inside the godly soul. So what happens is that a woman can choose to follow a belief that if a man sees her and gets aroused and attractive, that's his fault and his business. It's not me doing it, but I'm still choosing to wear this because I know it has that effect. And that helps me get what I want. Now, that's one thing. If people choose to do that, then I do understand that opinion, but it's not getting what they want from a godly soul. It might be getting the attention from the animal soul. They're taking that one step further, then somebody doesn't necessarily want to do that to a woman's, to an older person who is there with their wife and want to be loyal to their wife. They want to be only attracted to their wife. They don't want to be attracted to other young ladies. But nevertheless, if young ladies are parading in front of them, it's not their fault if they see them. Now, the question is about the ladies. Is it the man's fault if he gets attracted by other people's dress, or is it the girl's fault for parading themselves in front of them? And the point is, of course, that the man is able to control his own thoughts to an extent, but he's not able to control his Yetzer Hara. He's able to control his Yetzer Tov. If he has one, then good for him. He will be a mention, a man, and stay loyal to his wife. If, however, he has a big Yetzer Hara, then the Yetzer Hara is going to chase after the woman in an event, and the woman is responsible for that. Now, that is a completely different thing to proposing that the Shekhinah cannot dwell in a presence where there is not Sneers things parading themselves in front of the light of a man's eyes. Now, that's not to say it's only bad for the man and it's their problem, because if God doesn't like that, then he's going to make it bad for the person doing it. And so if we now try to put that on the reverse face and think that if a woman chooses to go out dressing like a peach that wants peeling, then we have to ask the question, what is the divine opinion of how the Shekhinah would dwell that person's behavior? Now, on that basis, we can see how a person can want to maintain their privacy with their partner and not be making themselves attractive to many other people, even though they can be a beautiful person and look more attractive by, I'm saying more attractive by being Sneers, by leaving more to the imagination, can arouse the godly soul more if people are attracted, but the godly soul is only attracted for genuine reasons if there is attraction there, which is very rare for the godly soul. Very rare, extremely rare indeed, for the godly soul to be attracted to somebody whereby they actually ask a question, could I actually even spend time with this person more than in a room with many people? So we're now talking about how the woman has the opportunity to maintain her privacy and improve that relationship with her partner. So we have an opportunity to ask ourselves, do we like other people when they do that? And that can be referring to obviously anything. Now we're looking at dress. Do we like other people that dress like that and do that? We might think like them and we might want to look like that because we might want that attention. But is it a positive compliment that we're earning? Or is it an ayin hara that we're adding onto us? Because we look like them, we think that's inappropriate, while they're out with their great grandpa or whatever it is, as a teenage girl wearing a belt around the waist to make a point. then we might then find ourselves also doing the same thing, and so then we can also ask the question about are we doing this for the right reason? And do we really want to be doing this? Because it's not just the eye over the recipient. How is this actually going to affect me as well? And do I want the attention which I am generating? Do I want the evil eye which I might give somebody else if they are doing this? Or do I actually want to be liked? And is this going to help me be liked?